I'm Stephanie, and much like you, I attend meetings on a regular basis, most of which are virtual because of the ongoing pandemic that never quite seems to go away. But I digress. Over time, I've noticed a couple of bad habits throughout meetings that are a little bit distracting and actually take away some of the core messaging from what you're trying to say. So here are 4 bad habits that we can kick to make sure your next meeting goes smoothly. So let's get into it. Number 1, I just wanted we've all heard it and we're all guilty of it. The filled pauses, the ums and the uhs, and it usually happens because sometimes we're not comfortable with silence. The reality is, actually pausing is much more effective than trying to fill the air with something that's not really meaningful, such as the ums and the uhs that we commonly hear. Pausing is really an effective way to draw your listener in even more, and it actually gives even more meaning to what you're trying to say. By the way, this is also a helpful tip not only in the workplace but in any part of life as well. So try to become a little bit more comfortable with silence instead of trying to fill it with ums and uhs and anything else. Number 2, how many times have you heard, all right, it's 4:05, it's time to get the meeting started. All right, it's about 1:15, now we're gonna move over to, all right, now it's 4:20, we have about 10 minutes left. Stop checking time. Not only is it distracting, but it actually takes everyone out of the moment. Just live in the moment. There's really no need to keep checking time throughout your meeting. The only exception to this is if you're coming up to the end of a meeting and you have a hard stop where you have to actually finish. Throughout the meeting though, just keep the meeting going. Number 3, stop interrupting. Like seriously, you have to stop. There might be a couple of occasions where you're trying to remember something and you have to get it out of your head immediately before you forget. In those times, just write it down. When you find a break in the cadence of the meeting or when the host is opening it up for questions, that's your perfect opportunity to jump in and add what you need to say. If you have something to add to a particular topic while the conversation on that topic is going, then try to find a way to interject. If you're finding it difficult to get a word in edgewise, I suggest saying something like, excuse me, I have something really important to say because it's relevant to this topic. Another way you can interject is try to chat with the host outside of the call to say that you have something important to share. If you're having a meeting on Zoom, you should also take advantage of that raised hand feature. Once the meeting concludes, you could always share a follow-up email to the group after the call. Now, if the opposite is happening where you're the speaker and you're constantly getting interrupted, then it's really important for you to direct all of the other inquiries to the end of the call. And number 4, stop eating while you're speaking. Now, I understand that plenty of meetings are scheduled during a mealtime, or it might be a long day and you hadn't eaten all day so far, so you want to sneak in a meal or a snack during your meeting. If you have to eat during a meeting, make sure that your camera is off unless you want to make everybody else on the call hungry and jealous. Eating while you're speaking is just really distracting. And if you have to speak up during a call, just make sure you're not munching while you're doing so. Because let's face it, while you're trying to eat and you're trying to speak at the same time, it's really hard for people to understand what you're saying. And then when you go done, and you probably done it, and it's just perfect. Oh. So that's it. Keep these tips in mind during your next call, and I'm sure you'll have a smooth and effective meeting.